Hey guys, Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. We want to thank you so much for all the support you've given us here on the network. And if you want to see what we're up to outside of the station, please follow us all over social media. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media and on Instagram at Mike Mercado Media. You can follow the good brother Alex Mercado on Twitter at Mercado21Alex and on Instagram at Mercado2121. The lovely Nicole Mancha is on all social media platforms at Typing When Tipsy. You can follow the network on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. Our pop culture show, The Good Brothers, on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Our true crime shows on Instagram at Murder, Mysteries, and More. And of course, like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can see all our videos on YouTube.com/Mike Mercado2333 or by searching Mercado Airwaves Network. We play video games on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. And of course, you can support our network by finding a tier just for you, whether you want early access, you want to be part of polls, you want to win contest prizes, by visiting us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. And we really appreciate it wherever you get your favorite podcast to like, rate, review, and share us. And please spread the word. For the good brother, Alex Mercado, for the lovely Nicole Mancha, I'm Mike Mercado. We wish you a happy, healthy holiday season and an awesome new year.
And here we go.
Get ready, get set for the best movie and pop culture talk in the universe. It's The Good Brothers on Mercado Airwaves with your hosts, Alex Mercado and Mike Mercado.
Welcome back to another episode of The Good Brothers. I'm Alex, that's Mike. We are The Good Brothers, the best podcast in the universe, in the world, in the multiverse, in a galaxy far, far away, and mostly in the Midwest. Mike, say hi to the folks.
Hi, folks. Mike, how you doing, good brother?
I'm doing good. We got some stuff to talk about.
We have a lot of stuff we have to get to today, good brother.
Bump that.
No, bump all that. No, we have to talk about the surprise of the box office this Martin Luther King weekend. Hopefully, you guys all had
We
it.
called it last week, though. We thought this would happen. Yeah.
We have a quick review of Parasite. The good brother and I both got our screeners, so we got a chance to watch that. The SAG Awards happen. A good precursor to the Oscars, or at least another precursor to the Oscars that we'll go ahead and digest in just a little bit. Good brother, we have our Super Bowl matchup that you and I are going to talk about just a little bit.
I mean, it's the Super Bowl. It kind of escalates sports in general.
But the idea that it's because it's 2 weeks away, we don't want to talk too much about it the first week, this law week. But we'll talk a little bit about the matchup that we have coming down in the biggest premiere of television, of course. And it's a tradition that gets us started to one of the best times to be a wrestling fan. It is the road to WrestleMania as we get our predictions for the 2020 Royal Roman Reigns Rumble.
Woo!
I mean the Royal Rumble. Good brother, we have a lot to get to, but before
you said Brock Lesnar wrong.
Oh, yeah, but before we do all that, let's all go to the movies. I put a little bit more flavor to that one for you,
It did not work.
Opening up number one, good brother, with honestly a wonderful, fantastic, and really, and this, I'm being so genuine when I say this, with a heart-filled, almost emotion, Bad Boys for Life opening up to $62 million. Before we go down the entire list, why don't we just talk about the importance of that? Why don't you start off, good brother?
I mean, it's important for January alone because not a lot of movies make this much money in January, so that's awesome. 2 lead male black actors is always a good sign for a movie. It's getting good reviews. It's getting good word of mouth. It came out in a perfect time. We all thought this would be a bad time for the movie to come out, but now you think MLK weekend, 4-day weekend. It's going against a Dolittle, which we'll get to, which was terrible, terrible movie. It's exciting, and this movie made so much money for its budget. It did the very rare thing, and it already got put on for a sequel the weekend of. So very few movies do that unless they're that successful where they're like, oh, by the way, it was so good critically and money-wise. Oh, yeah, we're doing a sequel.
So we'll go a little bit more into detail because I want to kind of bounce off some of your ideas. But really fast, at number 2, 1917, I think a movie that you really have your eyes on when it comes to our predictions.
You mean the one that's going to win Best Picture?
We'll get into that in just a little bit. And number 3, good brother, Dolittle. $21 million.
It's been known that this movie hasn't opened up in China or in Europe, but it is on par to make even more of a bust than Cats. And we're talking about a movie that lost almost $100+ million, and this movie is set to surpass that in losses.
So at number 4, Jumanji: The Next Level, and 5 Star Wars:
The Rise of
Both
Skywalker.
great movies if you haven't seen them.
And they're sticking around. They're making their
yeah.
money. They're definitely hanging around. I
Yeah.
thought they were interesting to be right there when we see the new ones come out.
We're going to get a sequel to Jumanji, of course. We're going to at least get 3 or 4. And then Star Wars, obviously, hate it or not, it made its money. Clone Wars coming out. That's exciting.
And kind of just wrapping it up, at number 6 was Little Women. At 7, Just Mercy. At 8, Knives Out. At 9, Like a Boss. At 10, Frozen 2, and just wanted to put it on here at 11, Underwater. So that'll wrap up pretty much your box office for this Martin Luther King weekend. And again, the numbers are kind of skewed because for some reason they always make it a big deal when it is a 4-day weekend, and they always make it a little bit more confusing
Well,
than it
be
is.
smarter, people. Put movies out on 4-day weekends more. And Spider-Man did it. Captain Marvel, not Captain Marvel, Shazam, like, do it on 4-day weekends. Like, what? Get that extra $20 million for your total of first weekend.
And before we continue on talking a little bit about Bad Boys for Life and Dolittle, what they mean for the box office and cinema leading into the rest of 2020, what you can spend your money on at the box office this coming up weekend, you have The Turning with Mackenzie Davis and Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, from its Chapter 2 and Chapter 1. But a horror movie to start off the year, one of the first horror movies that's been getting a lot of mainstream attention when it comes to its media and its promotion. We're seeing it before Monday Night Football, before playoff games, so this is going to be something. And The Gentleman with Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam. This is a very interesting movie.
2 movies that I'll just call it now. They're both going to be bust.
You think so?
Yeah, I totally think so. It's just, they don't look good.
So Bad Boys for Life is the number 1 movie.
I do believe so, yes. Because even if it's half, it's going to make
over 30 million?
Do I think, because here's the thing. Let's say it goes by record and what's it, 60-70%, it only makes, let's say, $25 million.
Sure.
I still think that's going to make more than both those movies. So yeah, Bad Boys number 1.
So with Gentleman coming out this weekend, it does have a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes. Why I want to bring that up? We do have Bad Boys for Life this weekend at 77%. A phenomenal rating, phenomenal box office weekend. Just a great home run win for Martin Lawrence, for Will Smith, for Michael Bay's Productions.
Because
and
this one
Bad
wasn't
Boys for Life.
wasn't Michael Bay.
No, but this is his production company that made this.
Yeah.
So this is a win for them. This is a W.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you can greenlight a sequel right away, it's a win.
But this is a big win for Will Smith. Nobody's talked about it. Will Smith has not had. Gemini Man was a big L for that guy. And he has not had a lot of Oscar love recently. Suicide Squad was the last franchise he was going to be a part of. Aladdin was a movie that, it
was an extreme success, and it made $1 billion. Because here's the that. It was extreme success. It made $1 billion, and he was the best part of that movie.
But he was also the lightning rod of said movie. So it's not like it's not like this is the Will Smith from 2008.
I think the problem with Will Smith comes that sometimes he picks roles that just don't work. And because, again, Suicide Squad, bad movie, he's really good in it. Aladdin, I liked it, but let's say Chris didn't even like it. He's the best part of it. And he was
said movie.
Like, there was honestly, looking back, and we'll look back in 10 years and be like, there is no one else that could have played the genie beside Will Smith.
And done what he could have done.
And made it really enjoyable. And, like, I don't know if you've seen it, because I know you were, against it for a while, and you hate Will Smith and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I absolutely hate
that. I'm pretty sure I made all that up. But it was, I love that movie, and it's not like a Lion King thing where it was original, and they did take some liberties, and it was good liberties. And looking forward to like Mulan in general with Disney remakes of, I like the ones where they don't go cover for cover, because I think Lion King totally proved that even if you're the Lion King and you make $1 million, doesn't mean it was a good movie. You didn't get any love.
But I think we can agree that this was maybe not a do-or-die Game 7 win for Will Smith, but it was a big win. It was a big win.
It's a nice win.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, it's not an original product. It's Bad Boys Part 3.
20 years later, 30 years later,
there was a lot more reward than risk at this point for Will Smith.
I actually think it was the opposite.
Because I think that this movie comes out average. We're like, well, it's January, Bad Boys 3 movie. Of course it's average. I think Will Smith would have been fine. I think it's a bigger win for Martin Lawrence, because now you're like, okay, Martin Lawrence, you were done. You're not Will Smith, where Will Smith can make 10 bad movies and make one good, and you're going to remember, oh, it's Will Smith. Yeah, Little Willie from Philly.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a bigger win for Martin Lawrence. Now you can be like, okay, now he's going to get a few more offers from a couple other things.
I don't know how many offers are going to be rolling in for Martin Lawrence. The only reason
he would have got if the movie did bad.
Yeah, perhaps, but I think a lot of it also comes to people don't forget. And if you were to ask people, the last good movie Will Smith was in, they do have a hard time. They don't go to Aladdin. They don't go to Suicide Squad.
I'd say Aladdin. I think people
Who
would
goes
go
to Aladdin?
If you said the last good
12-year-old?
Will Smith movie, Aladdin.
No.
That's
People
the
with
audience, young
concussion.
people.
No,
I think people that saw it, because you said good movie. We're not saying Oscar performance. Yes, Oscar
good
performance.
movie.
It's been a very long time. Well, Aladdin got a good critic score and made a lot of money. And he's the lead, so that's a good movie that he was in. Now we're talking about acting and Oscars. Yes, it's been a very long time, and Gemini Man kind of veered that action inception, maybe an acting award was possible with Ang Lee, but obviously it didn't work out. But if you're saying just when was the last good movie he was in, he's in a lot of good movies.
That's not what I said.
Is when's the last time he had an acting performance of?
That's not what I said.
Well, then what are you saying?
I asked, if you ask a person, the average American, not the person listening to Good Brothers,
I think Aladdin.
It was the last good movie Will Smith was in.
Aladdin.
They don't go to Aladdin.
I think they would. I think you're in a bubble if you don't think so. I think Aladdin did very good. It's still one of the biggest things on Disney Plus. I think for Will Smith, yes, people will remember Aladdin, and a younger generation will remember that. And $1 billion said so.
So let me ask you this. In the last, let's just say the last decade, do you think that Will Smith has had a tougher time with success now compared to when he was going from, let's say, 2013 to 16 when you had things like After Earth and Collateral Beauty and like 7 Pounds? Do you think that was a tougher time, or do you think it's a tougher time now with Gemini Man, Suicide Squad, Bright?
I think it was a tougher time back then. I think he's doing much better now. Because, again, those movies you name, pop culture enjoys him in them. Like Will Smith. And then if we're just talking about Will Smith in general, he's almost, number 3 or 4 Instagram next to like a Kevin Hart and The Rock. So Will Smith as a person has never been more popular, except maybe back then. Fresh Prince, what's the word I'm thinking of? When syndication is higher than ever. Aladdin is popular, and his toys are everywhere. So I do think he's fine, and I think he's very relevant.
Well, it's not about being relevant, but like I think about movies like
I don't
Focus,
think this was like, did this help?
And
yes. Is it like if he didn't get this, he would have been done? No, I think had this movie made $30 million, if this movie made $20 million and got like a 50%, nothing changes. Absolutely nothing changes for Will Smith at all. I think he's still looked at the same way. You're gonna hear, yeah, Will Smith's always good. The movie sucked. I think that's the worst you would have heard.
No, I actually think that he needed a win. I mean, I'm looking at some of these movies. I'm like, he has not had a win, not it made a lot of money and it has a 50%.
I get if the definition of a win is just overall like critically great, money great, everything. Yes. Do I think a win is, hey, even though the movie was bad, it made money and you were really good in it? I consider that a win because then you're like, well, Bright did get a lot of views on Netflix and a sequel.
Well, then that makes
Suicide Squad did very well.
Well, then that makes Will Smith, untouchable. And in a show where we nitpick even the greatest ones, yeah. I'm like, he hasn't had a home run win. And I think this Bad Boys 3 is more than anything. I don't even know if it's a win. It's a vindication showing that Will Smith is a true Hollywood star with the right property. And at the right time, he could sell any movie. But again, I think this also shows
I also think I think the problem was with Gemini Man, not Will Smith, that Gemini was a very confusing. You didn't get it from the trailer. It wasn't they didn't explain much to you. And there's a reason even the diehards couldn't get into it and Will Smith fans. So I think our biggest issue comes down to, because let's say take out Gemini Man, then he's had a very successful 2 years with Bright and Suicide Squad and Aladdin. Like, that's extremely successful.
And they will continue putting him into movies because he's a great actor.
So I think Gemini Man's one of those rare things of, I think it was more script and just advertising for the movie than Will Smith.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about being successful. I'm talking about nitpicking and talking about the minutiae, the niche stuff in these kind of conversations. But somebody who took an L. Somebody who completely took an L is Robert Downey Jr. What we got with Dolittle at 17%.
Now, that's a man that besides Marvel and Kiss, Bang, Bang, he's got, and Chaplin, that's the only wins. And those are like each 10 years apart from each other. That's a whole thing of you're like, dude, I get it. Sherlock Holmes 1 and 2 are good. They made money. They got a third, somewhat-ish. I think that's more Shane Black, honestly, him being a good director for those movies. I just, what do you want? The movie's bad. I think you know what the problem is? Had you made it animation, I agree with that. Had you made an animated movie, I think you do better because now we don't have to look at bad graphics and at least we know it's for children. And I think you're like, okay, like I get it. Like it's not for me, but it's cute compared to like Well, it's Iron Man, and you're doing these live action animals, and it's kind of adventurous. Like it could turn into a Pirates of the Caribbean ish, where it's supposed to be for kids, but it's not. I think you should have made it for kids.
Yeah,
and then you would have made money.
Yep, it did not know who it wants to target. Has 75% from the audience, 17% from the critics. It was a movie that had no identity, and then when you
development hell too.
Yeah, for the longest time, and also it marketed itself really badly.
It didn't look good.
No,
I mean, like there were some funny things, but like. It's just Robert Downey Jr. is charming. I can see him charming all over the place on Joe Rogan, on Ellen. I don't have to go pay to see him in a bad movie doing a bad accent.
Do we get him any step closer to putting back the Iron Man suit?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so this
like,
is a big
almost
step.
like if you don't think so, you're not very intelligent. Sorry.
So that is what's been going on in the world of the box office and in the cinema. But make sure you guys keep it right
Buy
here.
Will Smith, sell on Robert Downey Jr. to the celebrity stock market.
More news on anything that hits the good old theater in the big screen. And speaking of big screen, good brother, we were able to finally get a screener of one of the favorites going into Oscar season, and that is Parasite. Before we get into big news dealing with Parasite, let's go ahead and get into our reviews. Before we get to spoilers, let's just do it really fast. Give it a score out of 10 and a very generic review so that we could go into a little bit more spoiler talk.
Slow start. Great, fantastic movie. Definitely deserves every nomination. It won't win Best Picture. It'll win Best Director, I believe. It won't. I got to do a side note. Here's the problem we're going to get into, Mike, because we're going to argue this. I mean, 1917 and Parasite, those are the two best films of the year. I've seen them. I've seen them, and it's the best directors. Yeah. Do I think they're going to split them? Of course. It's the Oscars. So. I think they're splitting. I do think it's easier to put, can I get the name?
Bong Joon-ho?
Bong Joon-ho.
Let me find out for sure.
Give me for sure, but I believe that's right, but I want to be correct. I believe his face looks better. He's getting a lot of attention. I think it's easier to sell him for Oscars and 1917 as a movie than reverse with Mendes as a director, which we haven't seen a lot of him, but we've seen a lot of 1917.
Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's your best director. I think he deserves it. I think he's been out there. I think you've seen the run. You're already seen the push. And I think 1917, Mendes is kind of hiding behind it. You're more seeing it as the movie. It got released number 2. Everyone. And you know what it got? It got the older generation. Our parents, our grandparents. They want to see a 1917. They won't see a Parasite. But again, back to Parasite. We'll get to that. Fantastic movie.
What do you give it?
Great acting. It's a 9 out of 10. The ending is one of the best endings I've ever seen in film, ever. Like, the last 20 minutes is some of the best cinema ever. Up there with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We've seen a lot of really good climaxes this year, and I love it. Beginning's a little slow. Subtitles aren't bad at all because they're so charming. These actors are so charming and so real.
That's a beautiful word.
You don't feel it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't feel like you're reading. You're living in it. It was so raw. Like, I love the movie. I really did. I really enjoyed it.
I really want to get into spoilers. So for me, also, I just want to. I think it's a 10 out of 10. Yeah. It's my favorite movie. I think it's going to win.
I can see why it's people's favorite movie.
Yeah, I think it's going to win Best Picture and Best Director.
I think you're
crazy.
And
as soon as you said though that you think it could be split, it definitely put a little bit more a crack into my shield of like there's definitely a good chance that they could split between these two movies.
Here's the problem with this. You're not going to show the scenes of Parasite because it's just, I get it. As a normal audience, when you're watching the Oscars, you're not going to look at it and be like, oh yeah, like I'm reading and I'm looking and like you're trying to find a scene that really sells the movie compared to 1917 where you're like, boom, boom, like look at all this, war. And then you look at directors, you're like, no, but the guy behind the camera, I could sell this. Like he's doing great speeches talking about world cinema and great cast, and he's lovable when he's smiling. I could sell that. That's the win.
Here's where the other win comes from. Hollywood loves to put the face in society. And just
tell me, when was the last time the best director also won best film? Tell me the last time. It's been a very
probably
long time. Exactly.
Guillermo del Toro for Shape of Water. He won best director and the movie won best film.
What was that, 3 years ago?
2017.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
So if I had to guess, that's the last time. This is why this movie, to me, though, is definitely going to win. It's the only movie that puts a spotlight on society in a way that is relevant today. It does it in a very classy way. It's very humorous. It's suspenseful. It deals with a heavy cast, dialogue, great cinematography, great directing. It is exactly the way the Academy, the kryptonite to a great war film is a great film about society.
Here's my
the Joker.
issue.
Here's the thing: the Joker would have won Best Picture had it done more what Parasite did. Yeah. Everything people said about putting a spotlight and a mirror to society, Parasite did. Unlike any other movie.
I'll be honest. I love Parasite. Maybe that's where my one point is. I didn't feel that. I like the humor and I like the dialogue.
We get to spoilers then to talk about.
Like, yeah, we'll get into spoilers. I mean,
so
like
here we go.
No offense. Here's the problem with Parasite is there's not a lot to spoil
you can totally
necessarily.
spoil the entire ending. This
And I think it's one of those. Unless you're really an Oscar fan, you're not out of your way to watch it. Like a 1917 or Joker. It's a hard movie to describe. Where I guess not that hard to describe, but it's hard to really describe the feeling because it's a family. We have a poor family. And they kind of con their way into working for this wealthy woman who's naive.
Well, this to me is the biggest comp, and I just want you to because I mean that it's the Slumdog Millionaire of this year. It's about living in the slums and being part of it, but the cynicism of okay, you've given me a little slither.
Yep.
I'm going to take complete advantage of it. I'm going to destroy other people around me to benefit
that's
the people
my
of
problem, and I guess that's why you liked it. Where compared to Slumdog Millionaire. These are bad people.
Yes.
They're all bad people.
Yes.
The only innocent people are the actual children.
Yeah.
And even the little daughter's kind of a little freak. So you're like, what, the little boy maybe is the only real, like, normal human being?
And
so
he's
like,
annoying.
And when that's what it comes down to. It's like, and I guess that's what's real about it. But at the same time, it's a film where you're like, there's no one to root for. There's no one to really put my hat behind. And I guess that's real. I think here's the problem that I also told you. I think it's a little full of itself. I think it's one of those movies that if you didn't watch it now and you wait till all the hype, you're going to be a little let down because it is one of those movies where you have to love film. You have to love dialogue-heavy film. You got to feel it. You got to just live in it and feel it. It's not for a novice moviegoer. And we're talking about the Oscars, which, again, any year, you could be totally right, where it leans that way. I think the example of Shape of Water was Hispanics got behind Guillermo del Toro, and we're a little more heavy in this United States.
Well, minorities are getting behind Parasite much more than they are behind Sam Mendes.
The director.
Well, and the cast.
Not the movie. And the cast. But not the movie. The movie hasn't won anything yet. The cast has, and director has.
Okay. And
I guess when they split it.
The Screen Actors Award, which is voted by the actors, Best Picture for that one is Best Ensemble Cast, which was Parasite.
But it's also been known to switch very much going into Oscars.
Well, I think we've done the numbers before, and it ends up being like 74% of those end up winning it. So it's like more than likely Parasite
we've known from all the awards, it's coming down to 2 movies. That's the only reason we know.
Oh, you know what? And I want to get into this. So let's finish up our Parasite conversation.
It's great. It's not for a novice moviegoer. It's one of the best pieces of cinema.
Can I just talk about a few scenes? Because I really want this one.
I mean, it's your favorite. Go ahead.
So this is why it's my favorite. The scene with the boy, the nightmare scene with the cake, literally scared me when you see the husband come up. But this is the scene that fell in love with me. And spoilers not for Parasite. So at the end of this movie, this family has now infiltrated this rich family by conning them. And as the rich family has gone away on a trip, the nucleus family, the family that we've been following, are having this like sleepover together. And they're getting drunk and whatnot. And one of the old employees that they screwed over to get fired comes back. And we find out that she says she left something downstairs. One of the being is she was hiding her husband down there this entire time. And at that moment, we've been rooting for our family. And we see them turn. Not just taking advantage of gullible rich people that have it so much better than them and quite honestly are so oblivious to the world. But the minute they could have helped somebody that was below them, that's when they turned. And that's when Parasite hit another level of, oh, wait, this is deeper than just the protagonist-antagonist. Our protagonist now just became an antagonist, and in such a violent, visceral way. And the way that they basically murdered this wife and just hurt this guy to lead into the climax of they get away with it all. And we see the aftermath, and there's a lot of nuance in there, from the sex scene to hearing about the old man smelling like radish and the escape scene. There's a lot of nuance to it.
Here's my thing. I think you got that scene wrong. And I love your opinion. I think you're wrong. Because here's the thing. I think the wife was being very nice. And I think here's what happened with the maid. When they get discovered, the maid turns on them very fast.
She does.
So they got to go fight or flight. Because I thought the scene was going to go different. I thought she'd find out and they'd be like, hey, we're all in agreement. So that's where I thought the movie was. So that's when the movie lost me. Because I read that scene as, you kind of made the character of the maid a little different than I thought she would have been. But again, I like the scene. Then I like the scene where it's like, no, you defend yours. Like, that's my husband and my wife. We're defending each other. Well, this is my family. I'm going to kill for them. That's real. Like, if you wouldn't, like, obviously we don't have children, but you would kill for your children.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. So I think we read that scene very differently, and maybe that's why our enjoyment's a little different, because I think where you see it as they turn, I see it as they had no choice.
Oh, I see.
Because I think the maid is the one that sets that in motion by taking the pictures. Because had that family not gotten discovered and the mom would have dealt with it, I think it would have been, hey, can you bring him food? Like, just bring him food and that. And then we don't deal with that.
The family turned on them, though. Because you got to
she
look at the
turned
mom.
first. Because she got the video. She's like, I'm going to send it to them.
No, but the mom was sitting there saying, don't call me sis. Get out of here. I'm going to call the cops. She's bluffing, and like maybe she doesn't take it to a level. But to me, it's this idea. They could have helped. They could have helped. They've been looking for help. This whole situation came from a friend giving them an opportunity.
They're not looking for help. They're terrible people that are con artists. They didn't
the
look
point,
for it.
though.
They took everything.
The brilliance of this film is to make you fall for these people and then to see them kind of turn this way. But I think this is what makes Parasite such a great movie and why it is the only contender to 1917.
Once you see 1917, you're going to change your mind.
I know.
I think you'll love Parasite more.
I think Parasite's my
I think you will. I think once you see 1970, you're going to be like, that's going to win Best Picture.
So to me, this is where it comes down to. I think you bring up a great point. I think Sam Mendes and Bong Joon-ho could split the difference. I think in my scenario, and I can give you an early preview, it might change, but I think it's going to go film and director to Parasite and cinematography to 1917.
No, I think cinematography and best movie go to 1917, and best director is going to go to Bong Joon-ho.
We'll find out.
And then best screenplay is still in the air.
Best screenplay is probably going to go to Quentin Tarantino.
That's in the air because I think it could go to Todd Phillips.
Oh, and this is what I want to get to. So that's our review of Parasite. Watch it. It is a movie to watch.
It's good.
You watch it.
If you're a cinema lover, you'll love it.
Yeah.
If you're a common moviegoer, probably go watch something else.
I think it's better than Marriage Story, but that's a different conversation. Here's the favorites of that I wanted to get into, though. I think we know for a fact now Brad Pitt, who just came off the SAG, is now going to win Best Supporting Actor.
I'll put my vote in now. You too?
Yeah, me too. Joaquin Phoenix has now guaranteed that he's going to win
Renee
Best.
Zellweger.
Renee Zellweger has now
This is one of the
guaranteed it.
easiest years for actors, and it's very hands down, and it's very well deserved. And right now we're stuck at, what? What are we really stuck at? Best female lead?
Best female lead. And, no, Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah, Best Supporting Actress.
I guess no, it's Laura Dern.
No,
for Marriage Story.
I don't think it's hands down Laura Dern. I think that's the one we can have fun with, but I think you and me are pretty close to saying Laura Dern.
And then the real race comes down to this Parasite in 1917 clean up
and
the rest
I think
of it
splits.
But that's what we're going to
It's going
find
to
out
be
who
12
wins
Years
this.
a Slave and Dallas Buyers Club.
Totally could be.
Yep.
And I'm here for it, though.
And I love it. And
I'm here for it.
And you know what? I think it wins because I think 1970 is a better cinematic film. I think direction-wise, Parasite's a better directed film.
Can I just say this too? And I think you bring up a great point. But the cast of Parasite,
it's fantastic.
Oh my!
They won the award they should have,
Yeah,
and I get it. I get it's a little hard. I couldn't have pulled one actor. Maybe the father.
Yes.
Would have been the only best supporting actor I could have pulled. But I think the cast that they have
love
right
the daughter,
now.
though. I thought
she's
she
good.
was
She
great.
just got cast in a new big money lead in
Great.
Korea, so that's
Great.
good. Yeah. Besides the dad, maybe the daughter. I don't think any. It's an ensemble. It's definitely
it's a
an
great
ensemble.
ensemble
And
film.
I think that's what sells the director. Is because the film is what it is. The actor what it is. The director, he brings it all together. That's why I think he'll win.
So it doesn't
It's
worry
just
you,
not
though,
fun.
as a better for 1917. And, I think this is one of the rare times where
America, war.
we're all win. But here's the thing. You don't think all the precursors, all the awards have gone to 1917. You don't think that it's just going to continue? You don't think that we've already seen
Nope. I think
that Parasite has won all the awards?
That's how good the movie is. I
See,
think 1917 is that good of a movie.
See, to me, if they were splitting, I'd be with you. The only reason that I agree with you is because we have heard rumblings that people do love Sam Mendes. And that they
it
do love
just got its
17.
wide release.
But
Like
here's-
number 2 to Bad Boys.
But you and I do follow the trends. We do know it doesn't always equate it. This might be one of the rare years where it doesn't. But it does feel, cynically speaking, that we already kind of have an idea where most of these are, including
yeah, but
Parasite
the last five years have been very odd. Like you said, it's 3 years ago we had a best director and movie
And
winner.
we've seen it-
And again, it was a lifetime almost to Guillermo. And to be fair, Shape of Water was the most fascinating movie that year.
There were a lot of great movies that year.
Beside that, what, The Darkest Hour, maybe?
Darkest Hour was a great
Dunkirk
movie.
was
Dunkirk
good.
was really good that year.
Yeah.
There were some really good movies that year. But I think this is a strong year. This is a phenomenal
fun.
year.
It's very fun.
So we'll keep it here with all our Oscar conversation, and you know the competition is going to be fierce between the Good Brother and myself. Good Brother, we have our Super Bowl matchup for Super Bowl 54 in Miami,
Bears.
taking place February 2nd. It is the San Francisco 49ers representing the NFC and the AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs. Hell of a matchup. First time Kansas City's been in the Super Bowl in over 50 years. This is the first time the Niners have been since they went against the Baltimore Ravens. And Colin Kaepernick was their NFL quarterback, even though they don't want you to know that over on Fox and ESPN in around 2012, 2013. Either way, this is a fascinating Super Bowl. I live by one mantra when it comes to predicting the big game. Make your prediction early. Go with your first gut reaction. Do not let the next 14 days.
City.
And if you think it's Kansas City, don't change your mind. Because here's the thing. The next 12 days now at this point, people will be talking a lot of garbage. A lot of stories will come out. A lot of different things. Unless your lineman, like happened to Oakland, goes to Mexico and disappears for 3 days, your team it's going to be as healthy as it's going to be. Nothing crazy is going to happen.
Yeah.
They're not going to practice any insane amount of times. Hopefully,
Unless
Patrick
Nick
Mahomes
Bosa does something dumb and gets arrested.
So this is the idea where you already know who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. Don't change it. Don't wait later. What do you think about this big game, though, between the Niners and the Chiefs?
I just want, like every Super Bowl that doesn't have the Bears in it, I just want a good game. I want a good game every Super Bowl. Unless the Bears are in it, then I want a blowout of us winning. Because, just to be sure, I don't need another Cubs thing. I don't got to be up all night.
Yeah.
I just want a good game. I'm a Texas kid. That's where I went to college, so I love Patrick Mahomes. I think he's awesome. I love Kansas City. Tony Gonzalez was probably one of the big influences of me loving football, which is early Kansas City. So I love me some. I've always loved Kansas City just from playing it through Madden with Tony Gonzalez and now Travis Kelce. You know us, we're big linebacker tight end fans because that's what we were. Because we were big boys that had a little speed. So I enjoy that. So I like Kansas City a lot. So just put all together. I like them. I want them to win. It sucks because I do like San Francisco. I'm a big Jimmy G guy. He's an Illinois kid.
Yeah.
Should have had him. It just sucks to watch a Super Bowl with two quarterbacks we could have had. Of course it does.
They could have potentially been Chicago
All
Bears.
two of them. Yeah. It is what it is. And I let Nick Bosa, Ohio State, I hope for a good game.
I mean, Richard Sherman as a Hall of Famer.
I hope for a really fun, entertaining game with nice commercials.
And Andy Reid could get his first Super Bowl.
Shakira.
Jennifer Lopez. It's a stacked Super Bowl.
Ooh.
But we will break it down more. I guess we can make our preliminary picks into this. So you got the Chiefs?
Chiefs 34-24.
I got the Chiefs as well. 34-27
Yep.
to win Super Bowl 54.
So we pretty much agree as a show.
But I will be breaking it down as we get closer to the big game all over Mercado Airwaves
Bears.
on Sports from the Couch. So make sure you guys stay there. And the home where we talk nothing but Bears, and we will eulogize the Bears every single chance we can because they just like to continuously break our head. Good brother. It's one of our favorite times of the year. It is the beginning of the road to WrestleMania. It's the official start to the road to WrestleMania. It is time for the 2020 Royal Rumble pay-per-view. And we will start off our predictions with the bottom of the list as Andrade takes on Humberto Carrillo for the United States Championship.
Andrade. I think he drops at a Mania because he's going to get a big push this year.
He's definitely getting a push.
Yeah, he'll get a championship push eventually. But
he might get the Money in the Bank over Drew.
Something like that, yeah, something like that.
Bayley versus Lacey Evans for the Women's SmackDown Championship.
Bayley.
Lacey Evans.
You think Lacey Evans?
Because she's going to take on Sasha, I think, at Mania.
Maybe.
So I'll go Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
You'll go.
Because you can't turn Sasha and Bayley.
No, not at the same time. Not right
Yeah,
now.
because you already did all that work to turn both of them heel. Like, I guess Sasha could. Because who do you think? Well, we got to guess in the Rumble. No, I think Bayley retains.
Okay. Shorty G.
You know what? No, I change it because they have been pushing Lacey. I'll go Lacey.
Go with Lacey. All right.
Yeah.
So we both go Lacey.
Gut feeling. I'll go Lacey.
Shorty G versus Sheamus in a singles match in the Restriction
match?
Yeah.
Oh my
Probably
gosh.
is a kickoff match.
Sheamus is going to bury him.
Yeah, super hard.
Yeah, it's Sheamus.
Super hard. Sheamus.
Sheamus is like one of the most. I love Sheamus too. I'm a big
Why
Sheamus
not
fan
bring
here.
him back for the Rumble though? Like,
I
why
don't
not
know.
just have him be a surprise?
Yeah,
You're going to need surprise entrants.
You
Why not
know,
save
man,
it?
sometimes they feel like Sheamus is a champion. And they're
I
like, we
agree.
can't afford it.
But here's the thing. Anybody can afford to be eliminated from the
Plus,
Rumble. That's
you're
no big
doing
deal.
10, 10, and 10. I don't
Which
know.
they didn't do because we found out there was 22 SmackDown and Raws, and they haven't announced any NXT people
And
yet.
then you got to think surprises.
Yeah,
so.
I would have brought him in at the Rumble personally,
Yeah.
just for the pop. But that's just me. So we both go with
Bump
Sheamus. Though.
that.
Bump that. Roman Reigns versus King Corbin in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
I mean, Roman Reigns. Reigns must pose.
I actually think it might be Corbin because it's to swerve you, bro, to think Reigns won't be in this Rumble.
But
when
that's
he
too
wins.
much of a swerve, bro.
It might be.
That's
bro.
too obvious, bro. That's Becky Lynch. That's
All right,
too obvious.
just to be safe, I'll go Roman because never bet against Roman.
Never been against Roman.
Becky Lynch against Asuka
Becky
for
she's
the
holding-
Women's
She's holding the
Championship.
title to Mania.
Think so.
Because she'll get her win back. And it's a great storyline. And because obviously, guess who's winning the Women's Royal Rumble?
If it main events, the person you're thinking wins the Royal Rumble. Because if it doesn't main event, she's not. That
I
means
think
she's not
so,
winning the
too.
Rumble.
Oh, maybe, I guess.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're not.
Which Royal Rumble main evented last year? The men's, right?
Men's did. 'Cause
Well,
Seth
women's
did.
will main event this
Okay,
year.
so then let's do it this way then. Who wins the Men's Royal Rumble?
Tough. You know, it's very tough because I think Keith Lee's a good option.
think
But
it's
I think he's
Roman.
going to. Keith Lee at this moment
Yeah.
might be winning a title right now.
Yeah, as we're recording this.
I don't think it's Roman. I think you can put Roman in a storyline no matter what. It could be Drew McIntyre. I think that
Could be Drew.
If you're going to do it, now's the time to do it with Drew. It's not going to be Seth.
Well, let's break it down this way before you
Man,
do that.
it's
Who's
hard.
winning between The Fiend Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan in a strap match for the Universal Championship?
Bray
Who wins
Wyatt.
that?
Bray
so
Wyatt,
Wyatt
'cause
is-
Daniel-
Okay, so taking that we know that Bray Wyatt's going to win this, who does that affect you think
I
wins the Rumble?
wanted to say Finn Balor like months ago because I thought that storyline
Yes.
made sense and the little NXT. Seems like they're going to really keep him on NXT. You know what, man? I don't have a good guess. I guess I'll put Drew McIntyre.
All right, how about this? I'll give me your favorite, your dark horse, and a out there pick.
I don't have a favorite. Cain Velasquez,
Okay.
dark horse, Drew McIntyre, and out there, Velveteen Dream.
Oh, very interesting.
Or even Finn, an NXT guy. I'm going to use that as an NXT guy. NXT insert.
My favorite to win this is Roman Reigns.
Yeah, good pick.
My dark horse to win this, Keith Lee. I think Keith Lee's the dark horse to win
Whoop,
this.
whoop.
And my out there's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, because I can totally
Just
see
make it
Brock
a-
getting put out
Yeah.
early, and then maybe Kane or Ray or something stupid.
But like that could totally be. It could be Cain Velasquez. You're totally
You know,
right.
and I wouldn't even be so upset if it's Brock because I'd love to see how they do it. Which obviously, like, go throw him through a table and bring him out, and
Maybe
bring him back out and eliminate the last second.
What if he goes all the way to it's 29
And it's
it's
some
him,
big surprise?
Well, it's him versus Roman, and number 30 after Brock takes out Roman is Cain Velasquez. who then takes out
That's what I'm
Brock.
saying. Like, that's why I think that's the obvious pick, and I think sometimes that is a smart pick to do. Is like, yeah, or maybe it's one of those where you're like, you know what? Because you got different brands now, so you're also like, can we make a story where Kane eliminates Brock in the middle of the fight, and now that's already set for Raw? Like, we don't have to worry about it. Maybe is that a thing we're gonna do, or do we want to see Cain Velasquez as a champion? Isn't that the issue? Like, is that the champion you want representing you right now? Because then who's he gonna fight?
What if it's Ray?
Maybe it is Ray. Maybe, like I said, it could be a lot of situations involving. Do I think Cain Velasquez is that my pick? Yes, he's involved somehow in the finish of this match.
Very fascinating. And finally, the women's Royal Rumble match.
Shayna Baszler, baby.
So this is where it gets fascinating.
Or you think Ronda? comes
If
back?
it's main eventing, it's Ronda Rousey. If it opens, it's Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, that's true. So you think?
It's one of the four horsewomen.
Yeah,
It just
I agree.
it's all about the placement of the show. If
Maybe.
it's the main event, that's a Rousey spot.
Because the women aren't main eventing this year. It's just
Not Mania.
no.
Unless
so
it is Rousey.
it could. Maybe it's another triple threat with Baszler, Rousey, and Becky.
It could be it honestly could be anything, but I think
and then you
it's
start
Rousey.
that rivalry of Ronda and Baszler.
So I think it's fascinating that we might be heading down that way. But I think before anything, we could talk a lot about wrestling. And right now we see AEW's on the Jericho Cruise, which looks really fun, and they have that new deal going on. But I personally love the Royal Rumble. It is my favorite pay-per-view of the year.
Same.
I know we're supposed to say WrestleMania, but the Royal Rumble is the
more fun.
the more fun event. But we'll be watching it, and we will have our reactions all over social media and our full review of the 2020 Royal Rumble pay-per-view here on The Good Brothers. But Good Brother, that'll do it for us on this episode of The Good Brothers. Any final thoughts on a busy week in the pop culture world leading into a very busy weekend.
New Clone Wars trailer. Check it out.
Should be super fun. We will have a breakdown when that finally hits the Disney Plus app. You know we can't get enough of our Star Wars universe. But until then, make sure you're following us all over social media. He's at Mercado21Alex on Twitter and Mercado2121 on Instagram. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media and on Instagram at Mike Mercado Media. You can follow the show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod and the network on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Like, rate, review, and share any one of our podcasts, whichever one you like listening to all over the network, wherever you get your favorite podcast. It really helps spread the word. We really appreciate it and love it when you do it. It helps grow the brand. Wherever you get your favorite podcasts at Mercado Airwaves. And of course, if you would like to support Alex's bad habits, you can do that by visiting us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home to contests and interviews that we do with athletes and celebrities that you get early access with. That's patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/Mercado Airwaves, and on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. For the good brother himself, Alex Mercado.
Yeah.
I'm the good brother, Mike Mercado. We'll see you on the next episode of The Good Brothers here on the Mercado
Airwaves.
Network.
If I miss keep winning, like I swear to God.
Thanks for joining us here on The Good Brothers, here on Mercado Airwaves.
Hey guys, Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. We want to thank you so much for all the support you've given us here on the network. And if you want to see what we're up to outside of the station, please follow us all over social media. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media and on Instagram at Mike Mercado Media. You can follow the good brother Alex Mercado on Twitter at Mercado21Alex and on Instagram at Mercado2121. The lovely Nicole Mancha is on all social media platforms at Typing When Tipsy. You can follow the network on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. Our pop culture show, The Good Brothers, on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Our true crime shows on Instagram at Murder, Mysteries, and More. And of course, like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can see all our videos on YouTube.com/Mike Mercado 2333 or by searching Mercado Airwaves Network. We play video games on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. And of course, you can support our network by finding a tier just for you, whether you want early access, you want to be part of polls, you want to win contest prizes, by visiting us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. And we really appreciate it wherever you get your favorite podcast. So like, rate, review, and share us. And please spread the word. For the good brother, Alex Mercado, for the lovely Nicole Mancha, I'm Mike Mercado. We wish you a happy, healthy holiday season and an awesome new year.